live here. We're at actually, I am at Howard Hughes gravesite here in Houston, 2525 Washington. I think it's Glenwood Cemetery. Beautiful place. Howard Hughes is actually buried here with his parents, and a student of history, and of course the entertainment business is one of our sectors of interest, and he was a monumental player back in the day in Hollywood and the airline industry, even in Las Vegas, buying up property and disrupting organized crime there. Lord used him for a purpose at a time, from Texas, which was quite interesting. If you ever seen the movie Aviator, there's some books about Howard Hughes as well. Don't claim to know all the stories, but always wanted to come by and take a quick, visit. Didn't realize he was born here in Houston, but found out a couple of years ago that he was. And after reading his story, put it on my bucket list to come take a visit. So I invited a few friends actually that they're involved in the economic shift that I see happening that's coming to Texas, to Houston. Again, smart business, tourism, entertainment, great content. Didn't realize all of the different films that Howard had made. There's 3 or 4 or 5 that had won many awards, Academy Awards. So if you do a lookup, I'm actually going to go through a tour of some of the films that he did. I think at one time he had bought up most of the cameras in Hollywood and had the largest private collection of aircraft at one time for one of his movies. What was the name of the film that he did? You remember, that had all the airplanes? I forget the name of it. Dogfight, maybe. But just a very meticulous, interesting man for the era. I do believe that there is an awesome rebirth of Americanism that's going on right now, and I think there's an anointing on Trump even that's similar to maybe Howard Hughes, just going back and sparking the engines of creativity, of business, of change that's good for America. But anyway, expecting a couple of friends to come by. Can I mention your name? Here with Hector Luna, who is the pioneer himself. He published C-47 Houston. There he is. We have a Hector sighting. If you when we first met, we always used to tease him as, "Hey, I had a Hector sighting," and we make a post. But Hector's created C-47 Houston News and Entertainment magazine to really bring the Houston film scene together successfully over 8 years, profiling independent films, actors, directors, writers, musicians even. And because of his hard work, his pioneering, I think he's offered a breakthrough opportunity for our market that's underway right now with Tex Christopher, who's pushing for Hollywood to Texas, Scene One, Take One, an event that's going to be on November 9th. But also reached out to Rod Mitchell, another pioneer with Houston Cast and Crew for 30 years. I mean, these people have been laboring to bring something. There's KHOU right there, KHOU News. I don't know if you can see it. I think Hector used to be, I said God's newsman for KHOU. But anyway, we're going back to Rod Mitchell. Basically, he's hosted Houston Cast and Crew for many years and been an ally and supporter for all the actors in the community. Of course, reach out to Norman Ray Fitz, one of my clients, a screenwriter who hosts, I think he's billing it as one of the largest meetup groups, a Houston film industry meetup group that meets every first or second Tuesday of the month at various locations. So we're getting the word out gradually. Of course, Tex is an entrepreneur. He's also a politician, if you will, and very, very in tune with the times that we're living. And so for what we see happening in development here in Houston, basically tourism, economics, technology, of course, high quality entertainment, which he'll be able to share again on November 9th out of Hollywood. And there is buzz about this as well. Been working with my client, Joanna Sanchez, for many years, and she's got a lot of influence with a lot of the top people that really do a lot of the legwork for some of the big people, I guess the big names in Hollywood. But it makes perfect sense for our market. Economic development zones in the east side of Houston, bringing in some other, technology players and distribution players and all that. But I just wanted to make a point again, just to stop by the Howard Hughes Memorial here, kind of soak in some of the history. It's really kind of, awesome to. He was buried with his parents, if you honor your parents, the Lord says He'll honor you. And so again, I don't know if he was a Christian or not, but he did have a Presbyterian, I think, or Episcopalian background. He did have an anointing on him for a time in our country, and unfortunately, I think he had a really severe plane crash that put him on some painkillers, and he wound up getting addicted to heroin and other drugs, which kind of over the years took its toll on him. But maybe you have some stories that you know about and you can post here about him. I'm gathering some other, stories from different people. I probably need to go back and reread some of his books as well on his biography. I think he one of the links that are out there cited that he built, I guess, one of the largest planes ever. I don't think it's ever been replicated. The Hercules. That, again, the press, the lying media, or the skeptics that always come about, they labeled it as a spruce goose to make fun of him. But he was a pioneer, and it did fly. So interesting that these originators, creators, they take all the darts and they take all the spears, they take all of the snide remarks and all of the the hate, but at the same token, pioneers and visionaries like Howard Hughes and Donald Trump even push past that, push through, so that people can have livelihoods, people can have success in their life, those kinds of things. And God uses both non-Christians and Christians alike to do incredible things. So again, don't know his faith, don't know about his walk with the Lord or whatnot, but again, the Lord did use him for a purpose. So coming back here to history, just having a chance to take a tour. There's Hector, chillaxing, relaxing. And I guess there's some other prominent families here in Houston. I don't know much about this funeral site, Glenwood. It's right 2525 Washington. If you ever want to come down, just head to your right and just meander down the road. It's a little winding road, and it actually comes downhill past the office location, and you can park right here. It's the only gated. They said it's the only gated cemetery in Houston, in the cemetery, and they did have to put a gate up because people were leaving things that weren't appropriate for this burial site. So totally understandable. It is locked, and I imagine the family has the key and they can come visit when they want. And from what I understand through text, that some of the family members are still alive. They are here in Houston or different locations or whatnot, actively involved in the community. So the legacy lives on, I guess. But appreciate you tuning in. I just wanted to do a quick live cast here again at Howard Hughes burial site here in Houston, Texas. God has an anointing on Texas, I do believe. I hope you believe it too. And great, Houston is known as the Make It Happen city, the entrepreneur city. Our state has been doing remarkable things in, a variety of different capacities. There's a video online about this event coming up. It talks mainly about, development of NASA, the Astrodome, Dr. DeBakey creating the artificial heart. We're the medical, some of the best medical facilities in the country, energy capital of the world. Why aren't we the entertainment capital of the world? And I believe there's an answer for that. We are going to make that happen through our networks and through our business acumen and through our creativity and the energy that we have and the interest in wholesome content that people want to see, that adds value to our lives, that's interesting, that's historic, that's inspirational, redemptive, things with a purpose, fun, celebration. I do see a lot of music opportunities coming here. In fact, I got a meeting with a guy that I met named Chewy Terrazos after this. He has a really cool venue, and we're going to be reinventing the concept for Austin City Limits. I want to do something here in Houston, maybe called Space City Lights or something like that, where in essence, after we wrap our productions on the weekends, we go hang out, and we do some behind the scenes with food and celebration. Hey, there's a squirrel. That's my ADD kicking in right there. Squirrel, you've heard that, right? But anyway, going back to this place, I'm going to take a tour of this place. I'll probably take some pictures and maybe do a live cast there as well. But the venue basically will be televised live or produced for another distribution partner that we have that's mainstream and national. Behind the scenes, updated bands, new bands, up-and-coming bands, food, and the guy's a musician anyway. This guy, Chewy, is a real estate guy, smart guy. But he had talked to me several months about a concept that he wanted to do. And so for the last few months, he's been bearing with me as all this is coming together. So really excited about taking a tour, and appreciate his interest as well. So who knows, he may want to play a bigger role in what we're doing with this economic shift that's coming to Houston, again with Tex Christopher. So if you're on Facebook, I do advise you to go find it. It's called Hollywood to Texas, Scene 1, Take 1. There's a community page and there's a event page. We were expecting 2,000 people, but we're having to scale it down. The venue is still confirming because they have another opening that they're doing, and they're just worried about staffing for the venue. So we're having to scale it down to about 1,200, maybe 1,000 people. It's $15 at the door, but the proceeds go to benefit the Marine Corps League. Tex Christopher is actually instrumental in helping to get in Texas where a veteran that's disabled is able to ride the metro system without having to pay their fee, I believe. I don't know if it's going to the VA hospital or if that just applies wherever they need to go. But anyway, he worked with some leader at the Marine Corps League and letting him that leader identify those families need to be assisted through the fundraising effort of this monumental, again, economic shift that's coming to Houston. So again, it's going to be November 9th. Right now, the venue is Clay, downtown. Nice venue if you haven't seen it. It's really scale. $15 at the door. You don't need to register. You don't need to buy online, but when you get there, it's cash at the door. Proceeds going to the Marine Corps League in here in Houston, and supported. This is a shift that helps the Marine Corps League and the community. So tune it out. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry, I saw comments. I don't have my glasses on because I haven't had a chance to respond to some of the comments. Let me take a quick look and see what I got here. Cynthia Resendez is watching. Hi, Cynthia. Fee Nguyen. Hey, man, I got to schedule my haircut with my star maker haircut stylist, Fee Nguyen. He's awesome. Kevin Price with Price of Businesses. I need to do a short story about this. I will, Kevin. Thank you for your interest. Kevin Price is the award-winning journalist for The Price of Business, longest-running business talk show in Houston. He started off on CBS Radio, CNN Radio. Is now at the Bloomberg's Home for Radio on Business Talk 110 AM, priceofbusiness.com and USDailyReview.com. Yes, this is the Glenwood Cemetery, Kevin, in Houston. Scott David Brash was watching. Jonathan Vidania. Hey, Jonathan, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Thomas Larvin, awesome ally and friend, longtime friend. Thank you, Thomas. Hey, I may need to call you since you're retired and you're in volunteer mode, man, to help keep this in prayer, keep moving. Terrazas, thank you for watching. Just a mention of you. Looking forward to go check out your place. Hope, you're on prayer lady. Thank you so much for tuning in. Norman Fitz, how I mentioned you, Norman. Yeah, Norman is an awesome writer, man. We really need to put him on some major productions. I'm talking $20 million, $30 million productions. Put him around the story. Let him get on it. He is an amazing writer. He's got a lot of stories in him to get done. And, of course, you know how busy he is with his productions. Jimmy Bridges, how you doing, brother? Demetria Dixon, how are you? You know what we've been working on. Thank you, Demetria, for all your support and prayers as well. And, we're praying for this breakthrough. Madi, hi, Madi. Hope again, Madi, Joshua Keene, Jeff Weber. Oh, Jeff Weber, he's out of California. Of course, I've been trying to recruit his interest in Texas for a long time. But Jeff, we're not braggarts, man. We are dedicated. We're hardworking, and there's a lot of economic opportunity down here. So definitely want to reconnect with you, Eddie Rangel, Kendall Mahar, brother. We know what's going on in the music world with BillyDorsey.com. Check out BillyDorsey.com and Your Word Project. That's a big breakthrough project that Billy Dorsey's been working on, and Billy has been a client of mine and a friend, and he's been working at it hard, hitting the piñata. He's got a breakthrough music project, yourwordproject.com.org, either one, with the United Bible Society. He's already recorded the song with 13 international artists, and between them have had 500 million in record sales. Christian artists from Israel, from France, from Russia, from Germany, from here in America, Christina Ratcliffe, Marcus Witt, etc. Kendall Mahar knows about it. Thank you, Kendall, again for watching. Has been very supportive of this as well. So we're in some breakthrough times. I just really believe we are. I don't know if that's Christopher or not, Tex Christopher. But glad you tuned in, everybody. I'm going to tune out. And God bless everybody. Hey, Lynn, you're also on. Yeah, Lynn has been on board with what we're doing early. I met him maybe, 5 or 6 years, 7 years ago, and he's just jumped on and just really been selfless and offering his talents and skills to help us tell the story that we're telling. And thank you, Lynn, for being on board, and looking forward to including you in the mix with everything we're doing. Again, this thing that we're doing with Tex Christopher Studios is going to be open. Bring your project. It has access to funders and in years, and now growing influence in Hollywood and in the entertainment business. In fact, there was an executive from Universal that came down to visit with him this weekend. This guy was responsible for developing 169 international markets in the music world. And I think his story was that he was hired by the CEO of Continental Airlines, and just because of how sharp this guy was, and he asked him point blank, he says, what business do you want to be in? And so he made a way. The guy said he wanted to be in the music world, the music business, and so he made a way for him to get hooked up with Motown and Atlantic Records. And so this guy that came to visit with Tex basically is now a higher up executive with the Universal Studios or Universal Music side, and basically has caught the vision of what we're doing here in Houston as well. So doors are opening, gates are opening, markets are opening. I think my brother Tex Christopher is here. We're probably not going to do a live cast. I'm going to produce this video more succinctly with him. But again, thank you for tuning in, and you can watch this video, share it far and wide. It's big. Hollywood's coming to Texas. You know, we're setting up shop. Best equipment, best know-how, partnering with the local talent here, and getting a base built. And we're just excited about it. Thank you so much. Take care.